The tide is truly turning as reporters are now finally unafraid to share what they really think of Blake Lively. Also, a new legal filing that has me here defending Perez Hilton.
And she said to me, did you even see Age of Adeline? It doesn't just take place in the 30s. It takes place over 3 decades. And then she stomped away. And I was sort of like...
Are you kidding?
I did see Age of Adeline. I actually like that movie. I watched.
The walls are closing in on Blake Lively as reporters finally break their silence about her shocking behavior behind the scenes. But that's not even the most disturbing part of this story. New legal filings reveal tactics so extreme that even veteran entertainment journalists are calling them unethical.
So I was surprised to see Page 6 Radio featuring 3 of their hosts and our senior reporter, Mara Siegler, sharing feelings about Blake. Honest feelings about Blake. I want you to hear this.
Team Justin, but I'm firmly not Team Blake Lively. I'm anti-Lively.
Okay,
You're anti-Lively.
And I'm neutral on him, I guess.
Gotcha.
But definitely not her.
I feel like a lot of people feel the same way that you feel in this situation. Yeah.
I've met her.
Oh,
okay.
How was it?
Yeah, same. But I want to hear your experience.
Could this desperate legal strategy actually backfire in court? And why are Blake's own lawyers now targeting children in their documents? The answers reveal a celebrity meltdown that's spiraling completely out of control. Page 6 reporters just shattered years of silence with explosive revelations about Blake Lively's treatment of entertainment media. These aren't anonymous sources or unverified claims. These are established journalists going on record with their personal experiences, finally breaking the code of silence that has protected Blake for years.
I've never actually told this story.
Oh, tell
her
it.
She's afraid. They're all afraid, but here she is. Okay, I guess I got to tell Sirius XM Page 6 Radio.
You're Page 6ing yourself.
It was when she did Cafe Society with Woody Allen.
The first bombshell comes from Page 6 senior reporter Mara Siegler, who describes a promotional event that turned into a humiliating public confrontation. Picture this scenario. A simple interview setup for Blake's film, Cafe Society. The question was pre-approved by Blake's own representatives, completely standard industry practice, asking about her connection to the 1930s time period featured in both her recent films.
Oh, okay.
We had a television show at the time, Page 6 TV.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was there with a camera. I had talked to a rep before. I really just needed her to answer one thing.
Right.
On, that's all they wanted. I had been told what question to ask her. Normally we wouldn't do that. But again, this was for television.
Yeah.
We just needed her to say.
Instead of providing a basic promotional answer that would help market her movie, Blake launched into a condescending verbal attack. She questioned whether the reporter had even watched The Age of Adeline, dismissing the question with obvious contempt. Her exact words were brutal. Did you even see Age of Adeline? It doesn't just take place in the 30s. It takes place over 3 decades. But here's the crucial detail that makes this story so damaging. The reporter had seen the movie. She was actually a fan who had watched it twice. This wasn't ignorance. It was Blake choosing hostility over basic professional courtesy, even toward journalists who genuinely supported her work.
Just on Age of Adeline, what do you love about the decade of the 30s? Because Cafe Society happens it was the 20s or 30s. Yeah. Her rep brings her over. I ask her this pre-approved...
A question you would never care about Blake Lively's answer also. Hey, Blake! Yeah.
What do you like about the 1930s, Blake Lively? Who cares? Just tell me anything
The
nice.
reporter's shock is palpable in her retelling. This was supposed to be easy promotional content, the kind of softball interview designed to generate positive buzz. Instead, Blake turned it into a public humiliation.
And she said to me, did you even see Age of Adeline? It doesn't just take place in the 30s. It takes place over 3 decades. And then she stomped away. And I was sort of
Are you kidding?
I did see Age of Adeline. I actually like that movie. I watched it twice.
Stomping away after her verbal assault, as if the reporter had committed some unforgivable offense. But the pattern of contempt runs much deeper. Another Page 6 journalist reveals how Blake completely abandoned a scheduled press line for the film Savages.
At the time.
Oh my God.
And and I just found that to be very, listen, I'm doing a job, you're doing a job. It's your job to be on the red carpet.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so funny. I had
leaving an entire room of reporters waiting indefinitely. These weren't paparazzi or tabloid writers. These were legitimate entertainment journalists who had arranged their schedules and allocated resources to provide promotional coverage.
We all revolted, like, there's no way that we all came down here and Blake Lively didn't do the carpet. Oh, Savages. The movie was Savages. And that we turned into savages. We were like, get Blake out here. So her rep, I've had great experiences with her rep.
Me too. I love the rep. I just want to say that. I do love her.
Yes.
I hope she's not mad at me.
Leslie Sloan. We're talking about Leslie Sloan?
Yeah, I hope she's not mad at me.
I'm a fan of Leslie Sloan. I honestly am.
The situation became so absurd that the press pool collectively revolted, demanding Blake's return. Think about how unprecedented this is. Professional journalists don't typically stage confrontations with celebrities. For them to unite in protest suggests Blake's behavior crossed every line of professional conduct. When Blake finally deigned to appear, the restrictions imposed were deliberately insulting. Reporters could ask only one pooled question, meaning no individual interviews, no follow-ups, no meaningful interaction.
Sloan was like, "All right, guys, like we'll bring her back." So we
look how annoyed Leslie. All right, fine. We'll do you. We'll make sure we give you what you came for, even though you all came out in your night. Fine, we'll give
brought
you.
her back, and then she was like, "But you get one question, and it has to be pooled. Pooled means that you get to do the interview with others. It's not exclusive." So we all had to think of one question, and then everyone looked at me. And at the time, I was working for.
Anyway, blah blah blah.
I just eat cupcakes all day. Sort of okay. And so
So the question was, how do you stay in shape? Was the
asked
question.
her, and she was like, "I just eat cupcakes all day." And then that was it. And it actually did get a lot of pickup. And at the time, I thought like, oh my God, that's so funny. She's so quirky. She just eats cupcakes all day. Like, I'm the one who got to ask the question. We had a moment. But then when all of the interviews resurfaced where she was rude to report, where she was not so nice to reporters, I was like looking at it through a different lens. And I was like, wait, was that just condescending? Was she dismissing me?
You know what? I feel she was actually rude to Mara.
The entire press pool had to collaborate on a single query, reducing experienced journalists to the level of amateur bloggers begging for scraps. The question they settled on reveals their desperation. How do you stay in shape? This is exactly the kind of vapid content that serious entertainment reporters typically avoid, but Blake's hostility had reduced them to asking for basic promotional material just to salvage something from their wasted time. Blake's response was equally telling. Her dismissive answer about eating cupcakes all day seemed quirky and relatable at the time, generating the kind of lighthearted coverage that publicists dream about. But viewed through the lens of her documented contempt for media professionals, the response takes on a more sinister tone. Was she mocking the question itself? Dismissing the reporter who asked it? The journalist now suspects the answer was deliberately condescending, designed to make him feel foolish for asking such a trivial question while simultaneously providing the meaningless soundbite that promotional requirements demanded. What makes these revelations particularly explosive is their source. Page 6 isn't a scandal sheet or gossip blog. It's an established entertainment outlet with professional relationships throughout Hollywood. Their reporters work closely with celebrity publicists like Leslie Sloan, Blake's own representative, maintaining the delicate balance between critical coverage and industry access. For Page 6 journalists to publicly criticize Blake suggests her behavior was so consistently problematic that it overwhelmed professional courtesy considerations. These reporters risk damaging relationships with powerful publicists who control access to major celebrities, yet they chose to speak out anyway. The timing is equally significant. These stories have been buried for years, with reporters keeping their negative experiences private to maintain professional relationships. The fact that they're now speaking publicly suggests a fundamental shift in how the entertainment industry views Blake's behavior. Why risk burning bridges with powerful Hollywood publicists now? The answer points to a pattern of behavior so consistent and egregious that staying silent became ethically impossible. When multiple journalists from the same professional outlet independently confirm similar experiences, it suggests systematic problems rather than isolated incidents. The current legal battle stems from Blake Lively's allegations against her. It ends with us, director and co-star Justin Baldoni. She claims workplace harassment and a coordinated smear campaign designed to damage her reputation. Blake's legal team filed complaints alleging that Baldoni's representatives orchestrated negative media coverage through strategic leaks and manufactured controversies. The case initially appeared to focus on professional misconduct and potential contract violations. However, the story took a dramatic turn when evidence emerged suggesting Blake's own team may have engaged in similar media manipulation tactics. Text messages and communications revealed discussions about managing public perception and controlling narrative flow. This revelation transformed the case from a straightforward harassment complaint into a complex battle over media strategy and public relations warfare. Both sides now stand accused of attempting to manipulate press coverage for strategic advantage. The involvement of high-profile entertainment journalists like Perez Hilton further complicated the situation. Blake's team suggested that negative coverage might be financially motivated, implying that opposing counsel was paying for favorable stories. These accusations created a dangerous precedent, essentially arguing that any critical entertainment reporting could be dismissed as purchased content rather than legitimate journalism. The legal implications of this case extend far beyond celebrity drama. Blake's team is essentially arguing that entertainment journalism critical of their client represents coordinated harassment rather than protected speech. In simple terms, this approach could criminalize standard entertainment reporting. If successful, it would create a legal framework allowing celebrities to sue journalists and media outlets for negative coverage by claiming it represents organized harassment campaigns. This strategy appears legally questionable for several reasons. First, entertainment journalism has established First Amendment protections, particularly when reporting on public figures. Courts generally require proof of actual malice or deliberate falsehoods for successful defamation claims against celebrities. Second, the evidence supporting coordination claims seems circumstantial at best. Blake's team points to timing and messaging similarities as proof of conspiracy, but these patterns could easily reflect standard news cycle dynamics rather than deliberate coordination. The inclusion of children's photos in legal documents represents perhaps the most problematic tactical decision. Legal experts note that such inclusions serve no legitimate purpose in harassment or defamation cases. The tactic appears designed to intimidate rather than support legal arguments. This approach could backfire spectacularly in court. Judges typically view attempts to drag family members into celebrity disputes unfavorably, particularly when minor children are involved without clear relevance to the case. This strategy also risks triggering sanctions for frivolous litigation tactics. Courts have broad authority to penalize attorneys who file documents containing irrelevant personal information clearly intended to harass opposing parties. This case could fundamentally reshape how celebrity legal teams approach media relations disputes. If Blake's aggressive tactics succeed, expect similar lawsuits targeting entertainment journalists who publish critical coverage of high-profile figures. The implications extend beyond celebrity culture into broader press freedom concerns. Entertainment journalism, while often dismissed as gossip, serves important functions in holding powerful figures accountable for their professional conduct. Consider the pattern emerging here. Multiple journalists from different outlets sharing similar experiences with Blake's dismissive behavior. These aren't coordinated attacks. They're independent confirmations of problematic conduct patterns. The timing of these revelations is particularly significant. Reporters who previously remained silent are now speaking publicly, suggesting a shift in the entertainment journalism landscape. The traditional power dynamic between celebrities and media appears to be rebalancing. Page 6's decision to allow their reporters to share these stories represents a major shift in entertainment journalism standards. The outlet has historically protected celebrity relationships, making these public criticisms particularly noteworthy. This trend could encourage more journalists to share their experiences with difficult celebrities, potentially exposing systematic problems in how some high-profile figures treat media professionals. The legal precedent could also impact how harassment claims are evaluated in entertainment industry contexts. Courts may need to distinguish between legitimate workplace complaints and attempts to weaponize legal systems against critical media coverage. The most disturbing aspect of this case isn't the celebrity drama. It's the attempt to silence legitimate journalism through legal intimidation. Blake's team isn't just defending their client. They're attacking the fundamental principle that public figures remain subject to media scrutiny. The inclusion of family photos in legal documents crosses ethical lines that should concern everyone, regardless of their opinion about Blake Lively or Justin Baldoni. Using children as leverage in celebrity disputes represents a dangerous escalation in legal warfare tactics. What's particularly revealing is how Blake's own private communications contradict her public legal strategy. Internal texts show her team dismissing Perez Hilton as irrelevant and attention-seeking, yet they simultaneously argue he's influential enough to damage her reputation through coordinated attacks. This contradiction undermines their entire legal theory. Why would anyone pay someone they privately consider irrelevant and ineffective? The logical inconsistency suggests these harassment claims may be more strategic than substantive. The broader entertainment industry is watching this case carefully. If aggressive legal tactics succeed in silencing critical coverage, expect similar strategies to proliferate throughout Hollywood. Celebrity legal teams may conclude that intimidation works better than professional media relations. Conversely, if courts reject these tactics, it could strengthen protections for entertainment journalism and establish important precedents about the limits of celebrity legal privilege. The tide is turning in this high-stakes legal battle, but the outcome remains uncertain. What's clear is that Blake Lively's attempt to control media narrative through aggressive litigation has backfired spectacularly, encouraging more journalists to share their negative experiences publicly. The case now represents something larger than celebrity drama. It's become a test of whether powerful figures can weaponize legal systems to silence critical media coverage. The implications will extend far beyond entertainment journalism into broader questions about press freedom and accountability. And if this case moves forward with its current aggressive tactics, it could expose everything about how some celebrities really treat the media professionals who help build their careers. What do you think about these new revelations? Are Blake's legal tactics justified, or has this gone too far? Drop your take in the comments below, and let us know if you've had similar experiences with celebrity interviews that seemed unnecessarily hostile.